it happens.
What will your podcast be like?
Better than this. It'll be audio. I only do video when I actually feel like it's worth it.
Everything's worth having video.
Yeah,
Okay.
but on like a GoPro.
No, because then it has like everything has like a rounded edge.
Exactly.
To it. But let's get this podcast going. Hello and welcome to The Moral Limits. I'm Stewart, and with me,
Alex.
And today we'll be talking about Bumblebee.
Right.
What's the first thing on our list of things to talk about?
So first we're going to talk more about the story.
Story. Alright, what do you got on it?
So, unlike the clusterfucks of the previous 5 movies, this movie has an actual easy to follow and nice kind of flowing, sometimes a little fast paced, especially for a new movie, but it feels like they're kind of just working on their growing pains.
What I really appreciated about this story, above all the other Transformer movies, was how streamlined it was. It reminded me a lot of the original Star Wars, of just like bad guys, rebels, they're escaping. That's all you need to know.
Even somebody who doesn't get any of the references would be able to easily follow this.
Yeah.
It's super easy to get into it. That's what I like really.
And even like anyone, even like a grandma, walking into it, would see that opening shot of like Optimus leading the charge, would be like, yeah, Optimus Prime, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And then, oh shit, they're escaping, and then
like they do that typical thing where the Decepticons pretend to be the bad or the good guys trying to find the fugitive, and fucking oh my god, John Cena's like, doesn't Decepticon raise some red flags?
Their names are literally Decepticons.
Yeah.
John Cena brings me to one of our later topics, which is characters. John Cena was fucking great.
Oh yeah, best movie by far he's been in. His character.
Yeah, I never.
And I've seen lots of John Cena in movies. Hands down the best.
Yeah, I did not expect that from John Cena. And it's nothing against him, but it's kind of like with The Rock and like all the wrestlers turned actors. I'm just like, yeah, they're good. They're there for a good time, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But let's not get too distracted from the story.
Right.
It's the way they tie together the main character Bumblebee with the human character Charlie was fucking fantastic.
Especially with how his memory loss worked.
Yeah.
Because, it unlike with the other movies, he's basically a child almost.
Yeah, and because of its director and his experience with stop motion, he has such an attention to detail and facial expressions.
I got a lot of flashbacks to Iron Giant. Iron Giant
is one.
Because until the end, most of his programming is offline.
Yeah, until
he's just a child, kind of moving around, barely able to understand because memory loss isn't the same as what happened with Iron Giant, but a lot of similarities. With how it worked.
What I really got a vibe with was the director's previous work, Paranorman.
Mm-hmm.
Like just those characters when they're just like emoting, like you can see it in their eyes, and it reminded me a lot of Bumblebee in this movie. Reminded me a lot of WALL-E, where you have this robotic creature that you should not be able to feel as much emotion for, but you fucking do. And it's all in the eyes. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't seen all the Transformers movies. I stopped after like the first 20 minutes of 4.
Mm.
But I thought they did a far better job with the eyes.
Oh, far beyond. Like, galaxies beyond.
They had fucking eyelids. They had like the shades of blue.
The problem with the other Transformer movies was how
sexism.
That and the fact that that the Transformers were too intricate. There's too many moving pieces.
Yeah, well,
that makes it really hard to emote.
You know, a lot of people criticized them in the first one for why did they have lips? Why did the Transformers have lips? And I don't feel like lips are as bad thing as many people think them.
I think there's only one of the maybe 2 of them that actually showed a moving mouth.
Yeah.
In this one.
Yeah.
In Bumblebee, like Bumblebee, he just has like a little faceplate that moves.
Mm.
Same thing with Optimus. I think it was Cliffjumper and I think it was
Cliffjumper definitely.
Cliffjumper did, and it wasn't even like what you consider like regular lips.
Well, no,
it
that's my
it just
point.
has a moving mouth.
That's my point. Was a character like Cliffjumper showed me that, like, yeah, lips are not necessarily a bad thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's the problem with the other one, like you pointed out, there were so many different moving pieces that when they transformed, I had no idea that was once a tailpipe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every piece of Bumblebee in this movie, I'm just like, yeah, that's a door, that's a headlight, you know what I mean? These are parts of a car.
Yeah.
As ignorant to car parts as I am, I could tell these things.
And even, it was easier to tell when he took on different forms. Like the Jeep, like his like chest plates changed, so it looked like it was the front of a fucking Jeep.
Yeah.
Even at the end, they showed a lot more of him in his robot mode when he had the Camaro.
Yeah.
At that one little kind of post-credit scene.
But I was saying what I liked about the story is how it tied Bumblebee and Charlie together. Was it almost felt like Bumblebee lost a father figure in Optimus. Because at this point, I don't feel like Bumblebee fully knew that Optimus was still after. Because when he was leaving, it kind of looked like a building was falling on him. Like, shit was fucked for him. And he didn't have that message until...
Yeah, and even when he got the message, he probably didn't know what it meant. Well, because his memory cells were fried. And I think there's even one point where he has a flashback to seeing, from the shuttle.
That's where he remembers.
Seeing Optimus.
Yeah, but again, it's still from a position of, what fate is he...
Because he doesn't see him, he sees him as the general, as the guy in charge at the time, but this is him without his memories.
Yeah.
So even then, he still sees him as a leadership figure.
Yeah, someone of authority, a protector in some way. And you have Charlie, who lost her father, you know what I mean? And both are in situations like a heart attack or war, where it's not something where you can necessarily... There was nothing Bumblebee could have done, there was nothing Charlie could have done, and it really ties the two together.
Yeah, it showed that even though, they're two different species, they still, are so very similar.
Yeah. It was fucking... Well, how did you feel about the voice for Bumblebee? Because it was something we have not gotten in... How many decades?
Before or after Blitzwings ripped out his voice box?
Before. The 5 minutes we got to...
I was fine with that.
I thought it was great.
I knew as soon as I heard his voice that I just had a bad feeling they were going to rip out his voice box. I don't know why they just have a fetish for not having Bumblebee be able to speak normally.
Do you feel like this is a prequel or a reboot?
I feel like this is a reboot. For one, because how the Decepticons and the Autobots, eventually at the end of the movie, come to Earth is very different.
I get that, but at the same time, it's kind of like... you've seen X-Men First Class, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that movie where it's just there are so many things that happen in that movie that contradict what they said in the first X-Men movie.
Like the fact that they're all coming here in the 80s.
Yes.
And not
2007.
Yeah, 2007.
But it's they go out of their way to rip out his voice box and set everything up to be
and an actual makes sense, he's ripping out his voice box so that he can't communicate.
Yeah.
And then he, just to finish him off.
Yeah. They do go out of their way to kind of set up to where it could be a prequel, but at the same time there are so many things that...
And it wasn't like with the other movie where he just, automatically starts playing the fucking radio.
Yeah.
He takes some time to learn how to use the radio to communicate.
And again, I prefer looking at this as a reboot, but I find it weird how Paramount and Fox, both when they had a chance to completely reboot something, they're but let's leave enough things to tie it back to the old
They probably want to still keep some of that audience from the other ones. And say hey, we fixed it.
Yeah, but that audience is gone. I mean, the box office totals show that from the first Transformers to the third to the fifth, that it is just declined.
Oh yeah.
I don't think unless we get a sequel to this movie or a spin-off. Have you heard of the projects that they've been talking about?
No.
They're talking about a Optimus solo movie or a Cybertron animated film.
They need to do that before Peter Cullen is gone. Because I couldn't imagine having another person, and I grew up with the original series because I had it on VHS, and then watching the other shows that came out after that had a different voice actor.
Yeah.
I mean, he was okay, but Peter Cullen.
Yeah, I'll admit, my fandom of the Transformers definitely, it just kind of begun with 2007. I liked that first one, and then it just died with the second one.
Yeah.
So to have it come back with this movie was great. And when you bring up Peter's voice, he reminds me of James Earl Jones' Darth Vader. You know what I mean? How the fuck do you move on from that?
You can't.
There are other voices of Darth Vader that have been in like different video games or TV shows.
Luckily, Peter Cullen's played Optimus so many times, not just from the 80s version, that even if we lose him, there's a possibility we can still have him.
You mentioned the 80s version. My favorite callback to that, aside from the designs, the song.
Stan Bush.
The song.
You got the touch.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I was like elbowing at Anna Maria being like, it's a song! It's fucking great.
The music was also... I know there probably won't be like a soundtrack release.
No,
limited,
they would have to pay so many people.
Oh yeah, but like a majority of the songs were great. Especially, I really enjoyed the scene where she's playing different cassettes in his new radio.
Yeah.
And he just keeps spitting them out.
Yeah, fucking almost murdering her.
Yeah. Ooh.
The speed and the velocity of that Never Don't Give You Up.
It fucking better yet when she first puts the Smiths in there.
Yeah.
And he was dancing before, but then he's just fucking not moving. And he just fucking spits it out.
I think my favorite... Here's the thing. I think the director did a great job with this movie, but I don't know if I would want him back for the sequel. How do you feel?
I would want to see what his ideas are. Especially for if they're doing like a Cybertron movie.
I feel like what carried this movie was the designs, the story, the family aspect, and that's all things that director's great with. I feel like the best scene of this movie, best film, best everything, was that house scene of Bumblebee like crashing around.
I still really like the scene where he's like smearing the eggs on the BMW.
That's another great scene.
And they're having a great fucking time, and then he just starts smashing the car.
But you know what? That scene is right out of Paranorman. Like those tones align with this director perfectly. And while I like the Cybertron scene, I just don't see how I don't feel that
Cybertron would be very tough for this guy.
Yeah.
Like if he wanted to do an Optimus where he's like roaming the galaxy. Waiting for
I feel like this director's
Earth to be ready.
I feel like this director's perfect for Bumblebee. And if you want to do another movie with Bumblebee, but I don't know.
It depends on how they do Optimus. Like if he's like solo versus being with any other Autobots. Like maybe if he's like searching for other Autobots on other planets. That might be a little tough because it's a vastly different type of story.
Yeah, and again, this director, he was perfect with Bumblebee and Charlie. I don't even know if this director would be so much good for a Bumblebee 2 if it didn't have Charlie. You know what I mean?
I kind of would hope not to have a Bumblebee 2. Because, I mean,
I would hope for a Transformers reboot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a continuation of this new story.
Yes.
Because I like this new story. I like the way I like the way they look.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way that they fight. It's just... If it keeps going at this rate, a whole new movie series.
Yeah, I feel like you have a great point to go off from, and I would hope they would find other directors. I feel like a James Gunn could do good with it too.
Definitely with more like a teamed up one.
Yeah, or even if you're talking teams,
like if say Optimus is searching for other Autobots with some like, say maybe he has Ratchet and Red Alert and Ironhide with him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, James Gunn could do a great team movie, and that's what I don't know if this director could do. But what I do know is, not just James Gunn, because I don't know how many people want to work with him right now, but Brad Bird, director of Iron Giant Incredibles, he does great with teams too. He also did Mission Impossible 4, which is personally my favorite. And again, it shows that he can work well with teams, serious tones, high stakes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And maybe for Cybertron, maybe not do it from the Autobot side, because we already kind of have an idea for that.
Yeah.
They were, fought off the planet. I kind of want like a Decepticon side.
Yeah.
And not just after they fight them off the planet,
Mm-hmm.
but like the rise to power. Like
I mean, that would be easy.
almost
if you just,
Megatron like based.
Yeah, if you go Revenge of the Sith, sort of like Palpatine's rise to power. You know what I mean?
Because they did a similar thing in they did an animated series that was like almost completely CGI.
Mm-hmm.
It was Transformers Prime. The story was great.
Yeah.
And they did a whole thing where they kind of went back and saw the actual like the politics,
Mm-hmm.
like almost similar to like what Hitler did,
Yeah.
where he used the political system to gain power, and he got to the point where he took over. And in this case, he didn't try fighting the Russians.
I feel what would be great would be if you do that whole film and you just have that, you kind of have like a glimpse of that scene from Bumblebee
Oh yeah.
near the end of the movie, just to kind of tie it in as a kind of, you know what I mean?
It would be pretty much a prequel to Bumblebee.
Yeah, it would be.
Because at least the war is like hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And Cybertron's a big fucking planet.
What this movie really made me want to do was I wanted to go back and watch the 2007 one to like see the because I hadn't seen that movie in years.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see the differences. I wanted to see the similarities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it draws a lot from it. And I think what a lot of people don't give Michael Bay credit for, because the story, like we talked about how great the story was for Bumblebee, on how like concise and straightforward it was. But Michael Bay's fucking stories were so goddamn convoluted. There was a ship in like, try to remember with me.
The opening scene is like it's the fucking ship, right?
Opening scene is the cube off in space. Shit about Cybertron. Then there's a ship in the Arctic. Megatron's frozen. Then we flash forward to some kid in high school.
Trying to pawn off his glasses.
I'm sorry, but I fucking love Shia LaBeouf in that first movie. It's fucking hilarious.
I would rather watch Crystal Skull.
Yeah. Yeah, Crystal Skull has a far more
Better Shia LaBeouf.
origin story.
Yeah.
Because again, we don't just stick with Shia LaBeouf. Then it jumps to the military in Iraq.
You just... It was just everywhere.
Yeah.
It tried too hard. It tried to fit too much.
And something where, yes, you had a military in this movie, but it was the same Transformer that tied it all together. Opening scene, Bumblebee shoots across space, lands on Earth, he meets with the military, but it's the same Transformer. It's not, because in, let's see, Transformers 1, you have Optimus doing the opening,
Right.
then you have Megatron frozen in ice, and then you have Shia LaBeouf getting Bumblebee, so we're up to 3 Transformers now, and then we have some fucking scorpion shit in the middle of Iraq. It's fucking 4. And that's not even my memory probably forgetting a couple in between.
Yeah.
Because there was that fucking police car one too.
Barricade.
Yep.
Are you leading man? 217.
God damn. But what I really liked was when we meet up with the military in this movie, is you got to see a scene, a very light, levity-filled scene of John Cena and his men.
They're just playing paintball.
Yeah, and that whole scene of like, man, someone's gonna hear about this malfunctioning paint gun, you know what I mean? It's fucking great. And it gave him enough motivation for me to understand why he would be after Bumblebee.
Yeah, it's not just some stupid shit where like, he doesn't like aliens.
Oh, aliens. Metaphors for xenophobia, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like it.
I'm pretty sure that was like most of the generals.
The scar was a little too much. Like if they showed him like getting like sliced by a piece of shrapnel, it would make sense. But having a scar from like here all the way down to here.
For me, it was a good.
At least it wasn't like down the middle of his face.
Yeah, for me, it was a good visual reminder of what that character's been through. So at no point in the movie, where like a joke would distract me, I could always look back at his face and be like, man, that fucking sucks. A lot of people died there.
Yeah.
Because I think it's doubtful that he was the only survivor, but he was definitely one of few. You know what I mean?
I'm surprised he survived with his fucking ability to walk.
Yeah.
It looks like he got crushed.
I feel like he tried to get in a car and drive away, and then the car flipped over.
Yeah, and then I think his Blitzwing fucking blew up.
Yeah.
Fucking everything. And that's what I really like also about the designs. It's just the fact that they have this type of arsenal on them.
Yeah.
That can do that much damage, and that if it was to, say, I don't know, blow up right in their torso, it would also blow them up.
Yeah.
It's just, a little more realistic.
Yeah. Also focusing on this scene, it was... Cybertron was great. It was epic, and that whole shot of the dog jumping out was fucking amazing. But what I really appreciated was that scene following the paintball scene was the fight between Bumblebee and a Decepticon, because you could see everything. It was daylight, both of their colors, gray, yellow, and brown desert, all contrasted.
And they're not just fucking swinging their arms trying to fucking knock the other one
it was
out
some fucking animation
or
going on.
rip their fucking face off. There's actual choreography to it. I wouldn't be surprised if they like mocap someone doing the fights.
Oh yeah.
And just put that into whatever engine they're using.
Yeah, it reminds me of when they were making Lion King, and they would bring in animals into the studio, have like a lion walk around on a leash, just to get that like movement down.
Or like Benedict Cumberbatch when he's playing Smock. Have you seen that video?
I've seen the videos.
Oh, it's a beauty to behold. Him playing Smog and doing the mocap for it.
You gotta watch. There's a movie on Netflix right now. I haven't finished it. I saw the first 10 minutes. Andy Serkis directs The Jungle Book. It has Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan. It's got Christian Bale as Bagheera.
Is this the Disney remake one?
No.
Or is this a different one?
Disney remake was perfect. It was fucking amazing.
It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't like as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
There's this thing with Disney remakes where you take a movie like Beauty and the Beast, or coming up Lion King, or even Aladdin, where I'm just like, those movies are so fucking amazing that I wouldn't want to touch those movies, because all you're gonna do is get compared to the old one.
You think Beauty and the Beast was good?
I fucking love Beauty and the Beast. The original.
I'm talking about the remake.
No, I'm talking about the originals.
Oh, the original.
I'm talking about the original. I fucking hate the new one.
I think they're making Ariel too. Little Mermaid.
Probably off in the distance, but this next year they're having Dumbo, Aladdin, Lion King, and Lady and the Tramp.
Dumbo isn't as bad as it looks.
I actually like the trailer.
I hope it's actually good, and those like little kid characters aren't annoying.
To me, it wasn't the kids which stood out to me. It was Michael Keaton and Danny DeVito. But let's not get too sidetracked from Bumblebee. But to finish what I was saying about the live action remakes, I don't understand why you would go for like those Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, or Lion King. Something like...
Those are like Golden Age too.
That's right. You wouldn't... But go for Jungle Book. Because if you go back and watch the original, it's a fucking mess. It's just a series... It's... Oh, he's hanging out with elephants. Oh, he's hanging out with monkeys. You know what I mean? What the Jon Favreau remake did was actually put a cohesive story. But going back to Bumblebee, the fucking fight scene. That beginning scene in the forest was fucking great. And it showcased the fight styles that weren't just brawling like in fucking Michael Bay's. And another thing about Michael Bay's is you can never tell, because you pointed out how many moving parts there were for just them transforming.
Yeah.
When they were fucking fighting, there were even more.
The Decepticons, at least, they had a lot more moving parts.
They were also gray. They were all the same dark, black, and gray colors that couldn't distinguish from one another.
Yeah.
And at least with this one, the Decepticons, like, yeah, there was a gray tone to the first one, but the second two Decepticons each had their own distinct color.
Yeah, and I feel like it made more sense that they had more moving parts because those ones had two different alt modes.
Mm.
They had their fucking jet and helicopter mode.
There was this scene in the movie
with the muscle cars
where I was like, don't you think that's a bit much when they're like flying to Bumblebee as helicopters, go down to the ground as fucking cars, and then go to Transformer mode? I'm just like, man, what the fuck are you doing there?
And at least with the transformations, they didn't, like what they did with the other movies, they didn't spend too much time showing it happen.
Yeah.
It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And that, even with the more intricate ones, felt a lot better and smoother that they did it like that.
It kind of felt like if every scene in Star Wars with a lightsaber, you had to spend like 60 seconds slow motion.
Just zoom it up as
Yeah. It's just like, no, you don't. It's just a thing that happens.
Yeah.
Same with Harry Potter. The wands, they're just an extension of the characters.
Yeah, because they do those like weird shots where they're like jumping in them while they're like jumping up as the car. They start spinning and transforming, and the camera's following that.
Yeah, and a lot of times that the character is inside the car, and then you have to follow them as they fall, and then oh wait, you gotta have a hand that picks them up. You know what I mean?
They even did something similar to that, but Bumblebee just kind of like he just left the middle part of like section of his vehicle the same.
Yeah.
And just like stuck his arms and legs out instead.
But I feel like we have talked about a great deal of what this movie did good. I would like to hear some of your thoughts on what it could have improved on, or just flat out complaints.
It's really hard to find complaints.
Sure.
Because, well, especially coming off of watching all of the previous movies, a lot of them are really just noticing growing pains because it is a new director.
Well,
it's
trying.
I feel like the people who made it looked back at all the other movies and saw what a fucking mess they were.
Yeah.
And were really trying their best to not make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
And they still made a couple.
But what are those couple mistakes? That's what I'm...
So, other than, like, plot issues where, like, you know, she drives up on the moped to stop her mom.
Yeah.
And she gets
She literally chases her mom down.
And that's not the last time we see the moped either.
Yep.
The moped comes back.
Yep. It wouldn't be such a problem if she just left her moped there and was like, oh, damn, I left my moped. But it's okay because I have a car.
Like, she didn't even, like, hook it up to the back of the Beetle.
She literally chases her mom down in her moped. Her mom's driving the car, stops the mom, gets in the car, leaves the moped, drives off, leaves the moped. And I guarantee everyone in the audience saw that, realized it, and was just like, no. It's bullshit. But my biggest complaint with this movie is not necessarily that the side character Memo was a bad actor or he was annoying. He just was unnecessary. I feel like they just put him in there as like, you know, we need to have a romantic love interest, check, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It had no...
Which even at the end, I really like that they're like, no, we're not at that point yet. Because he's like trying to grab her hand, like to hold it at the end, because you have the nice little scene where they're looking at the ocean, and she's like, no, not yet.
Yeah, at least he didn't like just outright grab it, like when he outright walked into her house.
Otherwise, people would be up in arms about it.
Which they should.
Hashtag me too.
Walking into someone's garage or house, uninvited.
I'm just talking about the hand grabbing part.
No, I'm just not, like... I don't know, it was annoying, but I was like, this movie's getting everything else right, but then you gotta include this character, it's just like...
if he was, like, watching her from her bedroom window, yeah, I'll call him a fucking stalker. But, like, knocking on her door while, you know, she's just playing loud music...
You know,
I'll give him a fucking pass.
You say...
Not because he's black.
You say a character who watches a girl from his bedroom window. The first movie I think of is one of my favorite movies of all time, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. But here's my defense of Spider-Man. Alright?
Talks about double standards.
Yeah, well here's the thing. Andrew Garfield, right? Mm-hmm. Andrew Garfield is Spider-Man you have not seen. But he literally swings around the city following her after they've broken up. That's what I call stalking. What I call fucking Sam Raimi Spider-Man, we're talking about a Peter Parker who was in his room. He's changing.
Fine.
Any better this morning? Any change?
Change? Yeah. Big change.
And his window happens to be open. Her window happens to be open. If anything, I feel like his eyes are being assaulted.
I think that's more cliche.
Cliche, yeah, but I don't feel like we could be like, ah, man, fucking Peter Parker is, you know, peeping Tom.
Okay.
Well, he didn't even like door wide open. Look inside. He's like knock knock knock. Open door. I'm coming in.
Yeah, but he was. I don't know. To me, it was annoying. Of like, What was it? She just dropped all that lemonade, and he was just like, let me introduce myself. But no, he tried to before she dropped it. Either way, she has this big tray.
He was like watching from the churro stand.
Yeah, creepily. Eye stalking from the churro stand.
It's his fault that he got fucking hired right across the way. Yeah, okay.
See, here's the thing. I think he saw her at school.
You think he got the churro job for that?
No. I think he moved across the street. I think he got the job across the stand. Yeah, this is the long game. And, maybe he was feeling himself too much.
Better not be a prequel of just him stalking.
Yeah, I don't think with the money this movie's making, they're going to be wasting prequels.
They're going to make even better movies.
Yeah, hopefully. I think really that's all I have to say. Really, the only two complaints I had with this movie was his inclusion and the moped. So,
well, there's also the bullying.
Yes,
which you have a different issue than I have an issue with. Okay. I feel like getting the idea that she's lonely and feels like her world's been completely turned upside down. She used to be the star diving whatever champion,
right?
And she liked working on cars with her father.
Yeah,
who then died, and she kind of gave up and just kind of dwelled on the whole fixing cars thing, which she ended up liking anyways, which is still good.
Yeah,
but then I feel like that's enough.
Yeah,
to show that to kind of give the character enough depth. The bullying scenes kind of seem more filler like.
What I'll say about the bullying is I wouldn't want to take the bully out for two reasons. One, the smashing the car, and two,
yeah, that was great.
While I didn't like the scene of her being a bitch towards Charlie, because I just felt like it was too over the top, and as for someone who likes over the top content.
Yeah, that was saying something.
Yeah, her delivery towards Charlie, like making fun of dad, making fun of just her falling over. It was just like
it makes sense for 80s, but it's just
even
not very
then
necessary.
It was like it's kind of like if someone was making a movie about edgy humor and they were just like haha black. You know what I mean? There's like no.
It's not very well. It's not even.
There's no nuance.
It's not delivered very well. It's just kind of like, hi, your father's dead.
Yeah.
You can't afford a good car like I can.
Yeah.
Like her license plate's like, you wish.
That's my favorite part. That's what I was saying. The two parts that I want to keep her in the movie for is the smashing the car and the you wish. Because that you wish, the first time I saw it, made me laugh out loud. That was great.
That's why I was okay with them smashing the car.
Yeah. And the whole police chase scene was great, too.
Yeah, let's just forget about the fact that he destroyed that fucking car.
What, the police?
Yeah, the police car. It's fucking.
He just
crushed the engine. It's not super important. It'll still roll.
Man, when I saw the police lights come on and see a black teenager in the passenger seat, I was like, oh boy, I've seen it.
I kind of had a bad feeling something like that might happen, but luckily Bumblebee kind of got him out of that.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if she got license plates changed or anything, or those are just whatever was on there.
I think because that was worrying me. I was like, why don't they recognize? But I feel like after that scene, it was immediately followed by him being locked up all day long, destroying the house, which was immediately followed by the whole military thing. Yeah. So at that point in the movie, if she was going around hanging out at the beach, it'd be a problem. But she didn't. It was end of the world stakes. But I think that's a good place to leave off for this podcast and start our next one.
Yep.